السلام عليكم ورحمة الله أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. I welcome you all to this Hajj reflection session. Today I have with me Shaykh Ismail Hamdi, who is the Imam of ICPC Masjid Yunus. Shaykh Ismail is a good friend of mine, and throughout this Hajj process we were constantly speaking to each other and sharing reflections from the beginning, subhanAllah, from when we first both intended to go for Hajj until we both returned. And we wanted to use this session to just share these reflections with others. So whether you have gone for Hajj or intend to go for Hajj, this session may benefit you, inshallah, spiritually, maybe some logistical advice, and anything else that you may benefit from this. So Shaykh Ismail, I wanted to, maybe you can begin by just telling us a little bit about the beginning process. You know, we often say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who invites people for Hajj. You don't just go for Hajj, right? There are many who make the intention to go. They have the wealth, they put the effort in, but it ends up not working for them. And some others, you know, there's so many obstacles and it still works out for them. So I know you had a very interesting story of your preparation for Hajj. So I want you to open with your situation there.
Yeah, absolutely. First, Jazakallah khair for having me. Wallahi, Jazakallah khair. It's an honor to be with you on this live stream, and it was an amazing journey. Hajj was phenomenal. I'm so happy and blessed by, I'm thankful to Allah. I'm very grateful. I don't want to forget to mention that I'm extremely grateful for the blessed opportunity I was given and gifted by Allah to go make Hajj, a pillar of our religion. It's a big deal, And as Dr. Emad mentioned, we always often hear that, like, when you go to Hajj, it's like you have been invited by Allah. And to be very honest with you, like growing up, I heard this all the time. And almost like every khutbah when it comes to Hajj season and every khatira, it's like, oh, when you go to Hajj, you're invited by Allah. And I heard my dad, when I was very young, telling me his first Hajj story and how he went and how it was a crazy story. And I heard other people's crazy stories, like crazy stories on how they made it to Hajj, crazy stories. And I'm always in my head like a little, like, I'm like, oh, maybe like,
Skeptical?
Huh? Skeptical is the word I was looking for. I was going to say cynical, but that's wrong. Skeptical. I was looking for the words. It's skeptical. Thank you so much. No, that's what it was. I'm skeptical because, like, everyone has a crazy story of how they went to Hajj, and like, oh, like, honestly, my dad's story is crazy. Like, he ended up going like a week before the Hajj from some crazy scenario that happened in the 90s when he went. So I would hear that, and I'd hear other people, and I'd hear even people that went to Hajj and they met people that they were very close and intimate with here in like New Jersey or on the other side of the world there at Tawaf at certain timings that they used to get together to do ibadat here. So like I said, everything was taken with a grain of salt. And then when it comes to your front door and something very similar happens to you in your life, you're like, I believe it now. Now when I hear like what Dr. Ahmad said, like, oh, when you go to Hajj, you're invited to go to Hajj, I believe this now from my heart. Because my story was kind of crazy. So it starts off with me, I'm gonna make this very beginning part very brief. Like 2-3 years ago, I got a job in Florida, and I started giving khutbahs every week on Friday as an imam of a masjid, AMCC in Florida, in Longwood. So as I'm giving khutbahs every week on Friday, you have to go through different topics throughout the year. And when Dhul Hijjah comes in, the topic of the year is Hajj in Dhul Hijjah, the blessed 10 days. So it was my first Hajj khutbah that I had to sit and prepare for. So when you're preparing for a khutbah, you're reading the ayat of Hajj in the Quran, in Surah Al-Baqarah and Ali Imran, in Surah Al-Hajj, and you're reading the ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ in Bukhari, Muslim, and Tirmidhi, Abu Dawud, and Nasa'i, all these ahadith about the fada'il of Hajj and the virtues of Hajj, and also the severe punishment and warning for those who don't make Hajj. And I guess, like as a khatib on a minbar, I take it very serious. It's a big amana. So I'm giving this Hajj khutbah for the first time in my life, and I prepared for it, and I'm reading these ayat of the farida of Hajj, and these ahadith with these extreme like warnings and scary punishments for the individual not making Hajj. And I remember that. I'll never forget that day. I don't remember what day it was, but I remember I gave that khutbah, and as I was giving the khutbah, I remember I was telling myself, I need to save money and I need to go to Hajj. And then I got off the minbar and everyone's coming up and talking about their Hajj stories and thank you, Imam, for the khutbah, and I want to make Hajj. And I thought to myself then and there, I have no excuse now. Allah blessed me with the job and I'm being paid. I want to make Hajj badly now. Like I felt it.
This was 2 years ago, right?
This is about 3 years ago. 3 years ago. I felt it for the first time, like strongly in my heart. Like I want to go make Hajj. Before I never felt it because I never had money and I never had a job. But
did you have the means at the time?
No, I didn't have the means at the time, like I said. So what I thought to myself was, now I want to save money so I could go make Hajj. I want to go make Hajj. It's a big deal now that I have a job.
So did you see yourself going for Hajj anytime soon?
Honestly, I had some priorities in life. Like I was like, you know what, let me get married first, and I want to get married first, and so when that
I don't mean to cut you off. I wanted to say your story, but I just
Yeah.
want to point out, like, subhanAllah, this is
Yeah.
where the intention comes in. Like, you made the intention. Like,
Absolutely.
someone listening right now may not have the means, right? And they
Absolutely.
go through a moment like this where they hear something and they just say, subhanAllah, I'm putting that intention in. And it happens 3 years later, 4 years later.
May Allah bless you and increase you. Wallahi, what you just said, I want to highlight this point he just said. Because now that I came back from Hajj, it's like radiant in my heart and I'm so happy. And every time I see someone, I tell him, Ahmad, I'm like, brother, make the intention for Hajj. And his response is kind of like,
yeah.
He
like
goes, oh, no. He goes, oh, I can't attend it. I don't have the means. Or I can't attend it. I have a wife. Or this. He'll say something in response. I'm like, no, I'm not telling you go make Hajj. I'm not telling you go make Hajj.
Yeah.
I'm saying intend it. Because I've seen that anyone that put that intention in their heart, Allah, He facilitates it for them. And I even heard this growing up, like, oh, intend Hajj, like set the niyyah, set the niyyah, the niyyah Hajj. Now I get it. When you set a strong resolve to go, Allah, He facilitates it. So like I said, Ahmad, in that instance, in Longwood, I'll never forget it. I was like, yo, I want to make Hajj. I'm gonna set my intention. I want to make Hajj. And like I said, I had priorities, like I wanted to get married as well. But when that got delayed, every year I felt like this, like my heart was being like clamped down. Like every year that the Hajj season will come in and I didn't make an active effort to go, I fell down. So now we come to this year. Now I have enough money saved to go, and I was giving a khutbah. Subhanallah, Yom al-Jum'ah is a blessed day. I was giving a khutbah here at Masjid Yunus, in Prospect Park, and it was about 3 months or 2 months before the Hajj season. I don't know what happened. I went home after the khutbah. I'm sitting in the living room with my grandmother, like literally out of nowhere. I'm talking to my grandma out of nowhere. I say, Teta, I want to go make Hajj. And she goes, what? Like out of nowhere. It was completely random. She goes, what? I go, no, I have to make Hajj this year. I'm going to make Hajj this year. And she goes, what do you mean? I'm going to make Hajj this year. And that's where it all began. I called Wali Jaber. He's a brother that we know, we grew up with here. He works for al-Salam. And he was the same way he always is. He's very optimistic. He didn't turn it down. He said, yeah, absolutely. You want to take a group, get 30 people, we'll have your group for you. And I was like, no. I don't want to go to group. I want to go to Hajj on my own. And now, answering Dr. Ahmad's question, this is where it all began. So I just set this intention. My passport was going to expire in 4 months. So I told Walid that. And he goes, yeah, no problem. Just open the Nusuk app and it shouldn't be a problem. So he kind of would like downplay the fact that my passport expires in 4 months. So I ignored it. And then a month goes by, a month and a half. And then Dr. Emad reaches out to me. And he goes, what's your update on the Hajj Nusuk stuff? And I go, what are you talking about? I talked to Walid, it's done. And then Ahmad tells me, what are you talking about? I go, no, I talked to Walid Jabbar a month ago. He's like, yeah. Ahmad goes, no, you have to sign up to Nusuk. What are you talking about? I go, no, I talked to Walid because I thought Walid runs Hajj or something from America. And then Ahmad told me, may Allah bless Walid Jabbar. I saw him at Hajj, it was amazing. And Allah brought me and him together there in Muzdalifah. So then I go to Nusuk and I open a profile and I put my stuff in and I put my passport, I scan it and it like X red, X no. It goes, no, passport invalid, expires in 4 months. Now they're going to open the launch. They're going to launch the time to pick a package in about a month from that day. So I have to get a passport, and getting a passport takes a month. So I was like, you know what, I'll do same day passport renewal. But I was traveling to, go on.
Let me just explain to the average
person. I would love that.
So basically the way Hajj is now is that you have to log into Nusuk and there are packages and everyone is trying to buy a package at the same time. Think of it like a hype for a product and there's limited products and everyone is trying to click and buy at the same time. So Shaykh Ismail's passport is expired, so he can't actually do that. So he has to get it done before he can go through that process. If he doesn't get it done, then he's not going to be able to do that and he's going to lose out.
Yeah. And renewing a passport is it says 4 to 8 weeks or something. So I can't renew a passport the normal way. So I asked around, the guys in my masjid, and they're like, oh, do the same day passport renewal. We always do it. Like we always do it. I'm like, what's that mean? So I looked it up, and there's same day passport renewal in 3 areas near us: Manhattan and down Lower Manhattan, and there's one in Philly, and there's one in Stamford, Connecticut with the M, Stamford. So I was like, Connecticut's fire. There's probably gonna be a good parking there. So I'll go to Connecticut. So I set a same day passport renewal date for Stamford when I get back from Florida. I was going to Florida after Ramadan. So I get back from Florida. I even checked the Miami office, by the way, because if I went to Florida, I was like, let me do it when I'm down there for vacation. I could make use of a day, but it was too far, and I heard the Florida office is crazy. So I come back from Florida. I go to Stamford, Connecticut, and I was told that they will not renew it for me because I don't have a pending flight the next day. They only renew your passport same day if you have a flight ticket reserved, but I don't. And the other exception is for visas. And this was like kind of a gray area. But I said, you know what? I've been to Egypt for 8 years. I fought with people before about like admission stuff. I'm gonna get my way in. I'm gonna find a way to explain it to the lady. I get to Stamford, Connecticut, and I'm rushing up to the passport office, and they're like, my timing is in 20 minutes, but I see people are at the door, so I get kind of excited when I see people at the door, like they're all like barging at the door, and then there's a massive parking lot, a massive empty parking lot right in front of this passport office. So of course I thought the parking lot was for the passport office because it's humongous and it's right in front of it. So I pull in. It's a very gloomy day, and it's like windy and cold. It's very gloomy, windy, and cold. I'm pulling into this empty parking lot, and one guy pulls in right before me with his folder and his passport, and I see him parked there, and he's running to the office as well. So I was comforted, like, oh, this parking lot is for the passport office. So I park next to this guy, and I run in with him, and we're all running in, and the officer takes my stuff. He says, make a left, this, that. I go through security. I'm waiting for an hour. I get called up to the second floor. I go to the second floor, and it's my turn now. And I present the lady my issue. I say, look, I'm trying to go Hajj. I'm a Muslim. I want to go to Hajj. Hajj is a pilgrimage we have to do every year. I'm trying to receive a visa for the Hajj, and I can't receive a visa for the Hajj except through this app called Nusuk. And I was explaining it to her, and she's listening to me. And I said, they're going to launch the packages in 3 days from now. I have to be in the system. And she goes, I'm listening. And then, so she's like, And then she's like, she's writing stuff down. And then she's like, I can't renew your passport today, but I could give you it tomorrow. You would have to come back tomorrow. And I said, excuse me, like I took off work today and I got to take off again. She goes like, we have to do it tomorrow. So I said, can you please ask your manager? She's like, let me try one more time for you. You seem like a good guy. I was like, thank you. So she goes and she speaks to the guy. 15 minutes, she comes back. She look, I cannot give you a passport today. We can give it to you tomorrow. And I said to her, can I just ask, please, like respectfully, you could technically do it today, right? She goes, yeah, we could, but we're not gonna, because we have to make a precedent. And this is because like, this is for emergencies. People that are traveling tomorrow. You're not traveling tomorrow. You could come tomorrow at 11 a.m. and pick it up. I said, thank you very much. I was upset, of course, because it's a long drive. It was a long toll and like all of this. And I took off of work. So the next day I came. No, sorry. So then I'm walking out. I'm walking out of the building and my car is not there. And my car got towed. So I speak to the security guard. He goes, oh, you parked. It's private parking. My car got towed and I was very upset. So I looked up the tow spot. It was like 2 miles away. I walked it. But I remember I called Dr. Emad. I was really angry. I was like, yo, Ahmad, I got my car towed. And he said, oh, is it for the sake of Hajj? Good job. That was a good towing. And now I can say, thank God Allah towed my car. Thank God, because it was $250 for the tow, and I saved maybe $5,000 for the package I got. But now the story's going to drag. So I see Ahmad. Basically,
no, go ahead.
The next day I went back to Stanford. I took off from Noble Leadership Academy again for 2 days in a row now. I went back, and this is crazy. I come back the next day to pick up my passport. I'm 5 minutes before my timing. I thought they let us wait in the waiting room. He's like, no, we don't open the doors except in the exact timing. So I went, I hung out. I come back at 11 exactly. He lets me in. Now I'm with about 40 people. They're calling people up every 20, 30 minutes to pick up their passports. The people around me are all complaining like, oh, I was here first. And the security guards keep explaining to them, this is approval from Washington, D.C. We have nothing to do with who came first and second. But I'm used to this because Egypt was very similar. So I was patiently waiting. About 3 hours go by. I'm sleeping like this. I'm sleeping in my chair. I was knocked out. And an African-American lady comes from the back and she goes, all right, y'all, the print is down. No passports, no more passports today. And everyone starts going crazy and everyone is very upset and they start yelling. And I'm like, oh my God, I look kind of scary. If I go up and talk to her, she might get like defensive. I'm gonna wait till everyone gets done. So I go up to her, I go, ma'am, I just have a question. She goes, no more. Come back tomorrow. So I kind of try to stay calm. I say, La ilaha illallah. I'm just saying, La ilaha illallah. I go up to the security officer and I'm like, brother. And he looks at me. He goes, what'd she say? I said, brother, she said the printer is down. How could the printer be down? He goes, no, the printer's not down. The approval from DC, there's something wrong. This happens about once a month. He goes, bro, go get some lunch and come back. I said, okay, so come back. He goes, come back. So
I remember, subhanAllah, you called me when that happened. And I thought it's done. I was like, there's no way he's coming. You know, there's just too many obstacles. You went the day before and your car got towed and the passport thing, and you went back a second day. And I was like, these are all signs that you're not meant to go.
I remember this. Yeah.
I remember I shared with you a reflection of a Shafi'i scholar who was in prison. And it was Jum'ah time and he would get dressed and he would go to the door of the prison and he would say, I'm going for Jum'ah. And the guard would say, no, you're not. Where do you think you're going? But he said, I put in the effort. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you see, I did my part, right? So Allah accept from me. So I remember sharing this with you, and but you were insistent, and subhanAllah is still. Go ahead, you can tell us.
No. I remember this beautiful story you shared with me to comfort me. And honestly, man, I'm gonna be real. I was like so agitated. I was like, no, I'm on it, go. Like he told me this. He's like, Ismail, like basically it's all good. Like you're doing everything you can. What can you do? And I was like, no, like I want to go. What does that mean? I want to go. I wanted to go so badly because I felt like I was so close. So I was upset, man. I'm not gonna lie, Ahmad, I was upset and I was kind of worried, but I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, like Ahmad said, like, khalas, Allah worked my edge, like I went, but I wanted to go. So I look up masjid. I didn't go for lunch. I wanted to pray dhuhr. And I'm traveling. I'm like, you know, I'll pray dhuhr, you know. So I go, I look up this mosque, and as I'm parking in the mosque, everyone's coming to the mosque, like at the same time as me parking, which was kind of confusing because in the winter, dhuhr comes in at 12:10. Dhuhr comes in at 12:10, and I got there at like 1:15. So this masjid, like many masjids, they keep the dhuhr iqamah timing the same throughout the year. It's 1:30 steady timing throughout the year. So what I'm saying is, I get there at 1:15, I make wudu, I freshen up, I use the bathroom, I feel so good after wudu. I walk into the musalla and they start making iqamah. It's like amazing. I got gifted salat al-jama'ah. I felt like it was like a gift from Allah, Allah giving me a gift, and I felt like it was like a little good news. So I pray dhuhr with the congregation. I make dua after for Allah to give me my passport and for me to go to Hajj. I make dua. I go to some halal Mexican spot. I get a burrito. I eat it really quickly, and now I go back. Wallahi, Ahmad, I get back in. Now when I get back into the room, it's 3:30. They close at 4. I get back in, and the room is packed 2 times the amount of people because there's different timing. So my people that were 20 people left from my group, plus the 40 from the next group at 1. So the room was packed. As I walk in, it means like I'm gonna wait another like hour or two, like easily. As I walk in, like Allah calling me, like Allah sent an angel to call me. The security guard in the back. I'm walking in. I have a Palestine squad. He doesn't even know my name. He sees me walking in. He goes, "You, Palestine, come here, Palestine, come here." And I felt honored. So I walk in, and I go up to him, and he calls a security lady from the back of the window, and he goes, "His came out," and she goes, "Yeah, yours came out." Look, I'm honored. Like I didn't have to sit down again. And I'm like, this is the fadl of salah. This is salah. Salat al-dhuhr gave me this gift, wallahi. So I go up and then she gives me my passport. She goes, "Is that you?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." I was honestly so happy because I thought they were going to give me problems with my passport because, you know, I don't know. And then I get my passport and I look at it and I'm like, "That's me." She goes, "Is it all accurate?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Sign here." I signed it. I'm like, "That's it." She goes, "Have a good day."
Nice.
I was ecstatic. I come to my office right here. I scan my passport in the nusuk. I come straight here. I scan my passport in nusuk. And it says, no, X again. It says your picture, your personal photo is wrong, JPEG, MPEG, or something. I sent it to my cousin. He sent me a new one, and I got into Nusuk. So they sent me an email confirmation. You have been approved of Nusuk. The next day is Friday. And the day after that is Saturday or Sunday. They're going to open the packages. I'm trying to put money into my account. I was trying to put money into my account, and I couldn't put money into my account. I couldn't until the day of. I woke up at Fajr. They're going to open it and they'll launch it at 11. I have not seen a package yet. People have packages picked out. People have a package, and then a second, third, fourth packages just in case. I didn't see anything yet. So at the time of Fajr, the day of, they're going to open it at 11. The site is down. Nusuk is down completely. And I said, let me take a nap and wake up. I couldn't nap. I was shaking the whole time, thinking of Hajj. I was shaking. I got up at 10, and the Nusuk website was up. They're going to open it at 11, and I put in my money, and then the Nusuk website opened. And I went and selected any package, and then I contacted Emad. I'm like, should I get it? He goes, no, why would you get that one? That's 1850 or 19,000. He goes, get this one. It's the same thing, but it's 15. So I went back to my cart. I took it out of the cart. I went back and I selected the other package, and I configured it, and I clicked go, and it for 25 minutes it did this loading, and it says confirmed Hajj has been booked.
SubhanAllah, this is an amazing story because especially people who have tried this year, like they can relate, but like for the website was down and everyone is trying to buy a package. So the fact that you are able to go in and select a package and remove a package from your cart and then re-add another package, and you have time to even pick up the phone and call me and ask me about this package is just insane because most people are just not even getting into the website. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala facilitated it for you.
And I wanted to hear, I wanted to ask my friend Dr. Emad to share his experience as well, because I know he has other things he wants to share, but I wanted to say, like, after getting the package and speaking to Emad the day of and the next day, as we're getting flooded with Telegram messages of people that have been ready for over a month or 2 months with money in their account and with their packages all configured. And Emad's telling me all these people didn't get their packages. I thought it was like normal because I got in and I went and I shopped. I took something out of my cart, added something to my cart. And then I realized that no, wallahi, it's all from Allah, and Allah calls you to go. And Allah called me to go, and I'm very grateful. And like Ahmad said, when my car got towed, I was very bothered. That $250 is a lot of money. Ahmad said, oh, is it for Sabil al-Hajj? Oh, this is for Hajj? He's like, no, it's rakhis. I said, some packages are 25K if you want a guaranteed package. So I saved 10K for a $250 toll. But Ahmad, what happened with you? What was your story?
Yeah, subhanAllah. So I don't have a story like this, but my package, I got a package that was, I didn't really like too much. It was out of Los Angeles. So I would have to fly from Florida to Los Angeles, then across the country again, and go to Medina, and then fly back again to Los Angeles and back. And then, subhanAllah, something happened a few days before I actually purchased the package, where they canceled my package. They're like, your package, you can purchase it tomorrow. And every time I wanted to purchase it, it got canceled and canceled and canceled.
Were you worried? Were you worried?
I was worried. I was like, I'm going to lose everything, right? And I already planned. Me and my wife think we're going for Hajj. We already told people we're going for Hajj. But subhanAllah, that canceling.
I want context. So you had a package that was for you, like set for you, that you were, what is it called, saved, and then it didn't work? I don't get it.
Yes. So basically, the organization I was going with, they said that there are these packages that are predetermined. You give your word in, and then you can buy your package.
Okay, so basically there's no stress. You guaranteed a spot because you give your word.
Yes, but everyone who did this, their package was confirmed except mine. So
yours didn't get a complete confirmation.
Yes, I started getting very worried. I was like, why isn't it getting confirmed? And then this happened one day, and the whole day I'm on the computer waiting, because they keep saying it's going to open at this time, and I'm waiting the whole day, and they're like, sorry, there's a problem with Saudi Arabia. It's going to be the next day. I did this for 2 days. On the third day, I find out there's a different package that they opened up just randomly. And that package actually worked great for me, because instead of flying from Los Angeles, I was flying from Miami, and it was direct to Medina. It was the same package, but cheaper. And I went to Medina first, which was actually a blessing, because I was going to go into Mecca and then go straight into Hajj the next day. But subhanAllah, like for me, I've already been to Hajj. I went in 2005. It's been 20 years. My wife hasn't gone. That's what's kind of was on my mind. And a lot of times for work, I would be traveling to the Middle East, and I just felt guilty inside of me. Like, subhanAllah, I'm flying right by Mecca, and I would go around Hajj time, and I used to tell my wife, we need to go for Hajj. It just something inside me wasn't sitting right. And the way
you felt a feeling of guilt because you're going to certain Middle Eastern countries for work, and you're right there, like in the territory.
Yes.
And you feel like I'm going here for work, and I'm passing this sacred land, and Hajj is so big.
Exactly. And and for my wife, it's mandatory. I already went. She has to go, right? So I said, this doesn't feel right. So this year, subhanAllah, my work trip there got canceled. It didn't work out. So I said, it's a perfect opportunity. So I think this is one thing that you can take away. Like, the loss for the believer is always a win. Like, you lost a 250, but whenever it's fi sabilillah, it's always a win, right? So I lost this work opportunity, but subhanAllah, Allah gave me Hajj, which is 100 times better than that.
We have to take Dr. Emad's statement and highlight it and emphasize it by 100, because he said it like so quickly, but like it's such a big deal what he said. And you have to hear these things and remind yourself of these like statements, because they're really real. Like, they're really real. Like person saying, oh, Ismail, when you go to Hajj, you're going to be called to go to Hajj. Like, I believe it now. Like, I believe it. And he just said the loss for the believer is a win. The loss for the mu'min is a win. He said, I had a normal summer, like Arab country that he would go to for his work, for Arabic teaching, whatever. And this year it didn't work out. So I guess it's a kind of a loss, but it's a win because he went to Hajj. Also, he lost the package configuration. He lost this confirmed package. He got a better package. That's the same exact package, but cheaper, and he's flying out from Miami.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
And it's all about perspective. The moment he doesn't have a loss. If you're with Allah, you don't lose. You only win. You can't lose. You can't lose if you have God in your life. You can't lose. You can't lose. This Hajj trip had like thousands of reflections, by the way. I keep thinking now that you were speaking. Like, no, I was thinking like all these different reflections I got. I want to just shoot one out before I forget. This one I'm going to shoot out. We're going to go to Mina. Mina is where you begin the Hajj. Mina is your al-mabitu fi Mina is when you stay at night in Mina. The Prophet ﷺ, he took off the Mina. Yawm al-Tarwiyah. Yawm al-Tarwiyah is the 9th of the Hijjah, or the 8th of the Hijjah. It's right before Yawm Arafah. Arafah is the 9th, and the 10th is Yawm al-Nahri. So the 9th and the 10th, Arafah and the day of the Nahr, are the two big days in Hajj. And Allah says in Surah At-Tawbah, Yawm al-Hajj al-Akbari, and they say it's Arafah, or it's Yawm al-Nahri. There's difference of opinion. So Yawm al-Tarwiyah, the 8th of the Hijjah, is when we go from Mecca or from Medina or from wherever you're going, and you go to Medina, you go to Mina to stay at night. So Mina becomes the soul of the Hajj, because we stay in Mina the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th. You could do, we stay there in tents. And some tents are luxurious with air conditioning and buffets, and some tents are not as luxurious. And as I was in Mina one day, after shaving of the head and stuff, I think it was 3 days in, I was tired. Like, I remember being very tired and exhausted, but I remember just like walking right out of the tent of Mina, and there's stores there, like a coffee shop and like a Bin Dawood, a mini Bin Dawood, and a pharmacy. And it's like a city, man. And there's so many people and security guards and like the big metal thing that they close the street with. And I go back in, I'm just looking around because it's like 2 a.m. in the morning. It's really cool, or 10 p.m. at night. and there's a buffet, full buffet for dinner. And I was hungry, and I don't want to eat too much because it's Hajj, but I'm like, let me go get some food. So I got some food. And in the corridors or the hallways of these tents, like when you're going to each room, they have this like strong water moist thing that comes and keeps you cool.
It's
like
mist,
cool.
yeah.
The mist.
Yeah.
And I got food, like chicken and some meat, and very high quality, nice food, you know. And I'm sitting in Mina. I'll never forget this. It's like it hit me like really hard. I think I shared this with Dr. Emad. I'm eating, and all I thought of was that there's 2 million to 2.5 million to 3 million people sitting in Mina. Like right now, I'm in a part of Mina. I'm in Majd al-Kabsh, which is one small section of Mina. And there's many different areas of Mina. There's about 3 million people chilling at night in Mina, doing dhikr, praying qiyam al-layl, eating, hanging out, even doing dunyawi stuff, talking, getting to know each other. It's like the great the great ijtima'. It's a great
meeting
of believers. And I was thinking as I was eating this amazing food, after like feeling great because I shaved my head now and I can wear normal clothing. Wallahi, all I was thinking about was Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. All I was thinking about was Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. And my takeaway and my observation here was, I'm feasting from a buffet in Mina with Egyptian workers. Like there's the whole world is in Mina right now. People from Australia, aristocrats from all over the world, rich people, man, influential people, man. People that came like in small packages, like the people that I was with in Mina were like all high, like people with good jobs, and they're leaving off the left, and we're all in Mina, and it's 110 degrees in Mina, and we're sleeping in Mina. I was just thinking, like, could Sayyidina Ibrahim would have dreamt of this?
Yeah.
He was in Mina by himself. The reason why we stay in Mina is to commemorate Ibrahim alayhi salam. He was in Mina by himself with his son. He took his son out to slaughter his son for the sake of Allah. And all I was thinking was, he was by himself. It was a desert. It was hot. But he wasn't by himself. He was with Allah. And Allah saw him. And Allah venerated Ibrahim till today because of his ikhlas and him being with God. Like we were there together, but Ibrahim was by himself.
I was thinking of like a lot of times, like there's an opportunity, like God will say something and you have no audience, right? So Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was told to make this call of adhan for Hajj, the call for Hajj, and there's literally no life around. And you may say, what is the point of even doing this?
Yeah.
Right? He did it, and this is I had a similar reflection where you're just looking at millions and millions of people coming. You have upper class, lower class, black, white, from Africa, from North America, from South America, all over the world, min kulli fajjin amiq, from every corner of the world, and they're all coming to answer his call. And when you see this crowd, you think if only he can see that, if only Ibrahim alayhi salam was able to see that moment, right? Which also sometimes in your own life, you may say, what is the point of doing this thing, right? What is the point of me putting in this effort?
You go to high school, you go to college, you're by yourself. Everyone is against you. You're the only one. It's so difficult as a Muslim, man. Like, people think us imams or dua, we have superpowers, and we're like, no, we're not, brother. We're human beings, brother. It's difficult every day. It's difficult.
True. So, like even the Prophet ﷺ, he said, if the day of judgment happens and one of you has a seed in his hand, plant it. You may say, what is the point? The day of judgment is happening. You see the earth shaking or whatever, but it's the fact that you put in your part and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes care of the rest. One thing for me, subhanAllah, that was really spiritual was the preparation for Hajj. It was literally like preparing for death because I have children, and I started preparing my will, and I had to go get it notarized, and I had to sit with it for a minute, and I went to get it notarized, and when I got it notarized, she said,
can you explain to us why you did that? Like, I would love to know. Like,
so if something were to happen, yeah, so it's generally recommended if you go for Hajj that you prepare your will because you never know what happens, right? So this is a logistical thing, but it's also a spiritual moment because I've been delaying that for a long time, my will. I actually had my will done, but I never got it notarized, never got it like officially, stamped. So I said, no, I need to get it officially done. So I went to get it notarized, and the lady was like, I just want you to testify that this is your last will and testament. And when she said that, it kind of hit me like, at the end of the day, this is what people are going to look at when I die. It's this paper and what I've given them advice, how to divide my wealth, my resources, my house, my children, everything is there. And it was just a moment of reality check, right? And I did the same thing for my wife. I started preparing for my kids who are all minors. I started preparing them, like if something were to happen, here's all my bank information, here's all this information. I sent the will to my brothers and so on and so forth. And it's just a moment where you have to like get ready to say goodbye. And when we left for Hajj, my children were two of them were crying, and my wife was crying, and we were leaving. Me and my wife were driving.
You felt like it was like a janazah. They're all crying. Like it's a big deal.
It felt like it, but I was thinking, especially in the past, like we had text, right? We can text and talk normal, but in the past, especially, there was no communication. Like you would leave for Hajj, it would be months' journey, and subhanAllah, you would come back with no communication with your family, right? So this is
they don't know. They don't know if you're coming back or not.
Yeah.
They would do wada. They're saying goodbye.
Yes.
They don't know. Hajj qafila 6 months to a year. They'll come back.
Yeah.
They just wait the days for them to come back, and when they come back, sometimes they say your uncle passed away, your mother passed away.
Yeah, because
it's like saying goodbye. It's the first death.
The difficulty of Hajj was the actual journey. It wasn't as crowded as it is today. Today, the difficulty of Hajj might be being there with 3 million people and going through that. So that was, the preparation of, going to Hajj. I don't know if you have anything where maybe when you.
No, so I think leaving off for me wasn't as emotional or as deep. I'm single. I just like, oh, I can't wait to go to Hajj. There's so many similarities between Hajj and Yawm al-Qiyamah and Hajj and death, as Dr. Emad was mentioning. Like he's like, I'm preparing myself, and you wrote a will. You said that when you took the will, you held it and you felt something overcome by emotion, like this is like
it was just like a hit with reality. I just felt hit with reality, and I needed that. I needed that. It was.
What do you mean by that hit with reality? Can you expand on that? I don't get it.
Like you just see death before you. It's like imagine someone saying, Ismail, this is your coffin, and you're still alive. It's kind of scary, It's like, oh my God, this is what's going to be there when I die. This is where I will be buried. This is the coffin they'll put me in, and I carry that with me throughout. So even when I went to Hajj and I made ghusl, I was thinking to myself, before you put the ihram on, you take a shower, you put perfume on, cologne on. I was thinking that one day my body will be washed. Right now I'm washing it, and one day it will be washed. And then you put the ihram on, and again you're wrapping yourself, but one day you will be wrapped.
Yes.
And I started looking at everyone in ihram as just a walking dead person, right? You're just a walking shroud. We're all just walking shrouds. And it makes you think, like in your community, you may be someone. But when you go for Hajj, you're just a normal person. You just blend into millions of people, and it makes you humble. It humbles you, subhanAllah.
So Ahmad, what was your experience in terms of actually going to Hajj now, saying goodbye to your family? Did you say goodbye from the door? Did they take you to the airport? What was that experience like? Can you explain it a bit?
I said goodbye to my wife and kids here. My kids here in the house. So they didn't drop me to the airport.
They dropped you off, or you went to the airport yourself?
I'm in Orlando, so I drove to Miami. So I just
left. So you went all the way to Miami because it's an international flight. It was a flight that took you to Medina.
Yep, it took me to Medina.
You went to Istanbul, and then from Istanbul you went to?
I went to Qatar, and from Qatar to Medina. Yeah. So otherwise,
that's what I'm saying, like you went out of the way to Miami, which is 4 hours or 3 hours and a half from your house in Orlando.
Yeah.
Do you have any observations or feelings? Like, did you feel like it was muyassar? Because I have so much I want to share after hearing from you.
Yeah. Like, you know what? There are moments of difficulty. I'm not gonna like pretend that it was not, but there's something that was in Hajj that made it so easy for me. Even the difficulty. I'm a person who I don't like to travel. I hate airplanes. And when I travel for work or for vacation or anything like that, if I'm in an airplane for long, I start getting agitated. But there's this one scholar who told me years ago when I was like 18 years old, he said something to me. He said, when you experience pain for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it becomes pleasure. It becomes a ladha. And this was true. I kept this throughout the journey. Like my flight there felt like forever. It was a 14.5-hour flight from Miami to Qatar. And I couldn't sleep. But I began saying all of this is fi sabilillah, so I began enjoying it. And one day when we were there, I'm going to share this. When you're in Hajj, they say you're going to walk a lot. I didn't really expect to walk that much. But there's one day we were in Arafah, and then Arafah is a whole day thing. And then from Arafah, we went to Muzdalifah in the night. So the whole day you're out and you're making dua from Dhuhr until Maghrib, which is like 6 hours. And from there, we got on a bus and we went to Muzdalifah, and we were there for 6 hours. You're just exhausted. That night, we went from Muzdalifah to the Jamarat, and then to get back to Mina, they closed all the roads. So we ended up walking 11 miles. And there was a lady, they told us pack light. There was one lady, elder lady in our group who packed heavy for whatever reason. And she had a heavy backpack on her. So I saw her, and one lady mentioned, oh, your backpack looks really heavy. So I said to her, let me carry your backpack. and I didn't know we were going to walk 11 miles. And this is a heavy backpack. Think like a backpack full of textbooks. And it was extremely difficult. But in my heart, I enjoyed every moment of it. Even though I was sweating and it was hot and it was crowded and I'm wearing ihram, I enjoyed every moment of it because it was fi sabilillah. And in my mind, I was just saying, Allah, just like I'm carrying the burden of this lady, Allah, you carry my burden. So that's something that helped me shift. Even the separating from my kids, the leaving off the comfort of a house and your bed and your business and everything, all of that, when you leave it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So that's a very beautiful point. So the fact that you're going to Hajj, every difficulty you're gonna encounter or face is all fi sabilillah, because it's fi sabilillah Hajj, fi sabilillah.
Yeah. So if I were to go to the mall today and walk for 5 minutes, I can't take it.
You'll be miserable. I'll be mad.
I can't. I say no. I gotta leave. I can't sit here.
If I went to take a plane to go somewhere to hang out or to go on vacation, and I was uncomfortable on the plane, I would be miserable. But like Emad said, and he would remind me throughout my Hajj journey as well. I would have times of exhaustion. He goes, "Oh, it's fi sabilil Hajj." He reminded me this, and he prepared me for this from the timing of the car getting towed. He goes, "Oh, it's fi sabilil Hajj." So like Emad said, the mashaqqa and the ta'ab that one goes through or endures for the sake of worship, it's something that's beautiful. And we're giving the example of Hajj, but this is in our everyday life as well, because people go through mashaqqa and exhaustion for Fajr. Or in Ramadan, when we're praying Taraweeh or Qiyam, sometimes you may feel like exhausted standing. I remember as a young man growing up, I used to pray Qiyam behind a prominent individual in our community who prays very long Qiyam. And I remember that I would be so tired behind him and my feet would hurt. And I remember I would say, no, like I want it to hurt because I want to earn going to sleep at night. Like after Fajr, I want to earn it. And when I go to bed at night after Fajr, after standing for 3 hours with this individual, I feel the pulsating, my foot is pulsing, but it feels so good because it was fi sabilillah. Like you're thinking that I'm standing and inshallah Allah will protect my foot or my leg from the fire of Jahannam because you did it fi sabilillah. And I thought about the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu ribat fi sabilillah. There's 3 eyes that won't touch the fire. Like one eye that looks away from haram, one eye that is in ribat, and one eye that cries in secrecy and he remembers Allah. These 3 eyes, they won't touch Jahannam. Jahannam won't touch it. So the guy that's watching fi sabilillah, it's exhausting, Ahmad. He's probably falling asleep, the guy, you know? He's out there for hours watching fi sabilillah. He's keeping his eyes open for the sake of Allah.
Yeah.
The same way that you do something, you go travel for the sake of Allah. So that's a big observation as well, you know? Like, and Hajj is exhausting. And you're going to have to constantly remind yourself throughout the exhaustingness of Hajj, throughout the exhaustingness of Safar, like it's discomfort. But I was asking Ahmad to share with me his observations of him getting there, because like one thing that stood out to me was when I was in Mina, every person I met has a different story of how they got to Hajj. Like four flights, 5 flights, a train and 3 flights, and missing a flight and this, that. It was all a lot. For me, it was very, alhamdulillah, it was very easy. We went from Kennedy Airport to Qatar, from Qatar to Jeddah. We spent 3 days in Mecca before the Hajj commenced. And Hajj, like the pre Mecca time before Hajj was amazing. And I think Dr. Ahmad, he was in Medina first. How was that experience for you?
You know, subhanAllah, Medina is not part of Hajj, but it was.
Did you enjoy going to Medina first? How did that prepare you? Explain that.
So for me, my initial package was to Mecca first. I was going to land on the 7th of Hijjah, which means that in the evening, which means that I'm going to literally go straight into Hajj, which would have been exhausting. But for me, I actually got sick in America on my way to Hajj. I had like a cold and a cough and a sore throat problem. And even that, I said, Alhamdulillah, I'm very happy this happened now. I'd rather have it happen now in America than when I get to Medina or then when I'm in Hajj. So as I got there, it gradually went away. But Medina is it's hard to explain. Like it's otherworldly. SubhanAllah, to be in the presence of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, just the calmness of the city, the beautiful dome of the Prophet ﷺ, the green dome, and the minarets, and the minarets with the black sky, and I had so much connection in that moment with the Prophet ﷺ, because when I was praying, many times the Imam, he would recite verses that were about the Prophet ﷺ, and I was thinking to myself, subhanallah, like he would recite verses where they call you crazy, sahirun majnoon, right? Mu'allamun majnoon. They used to call him a madman or a crazy person. And I was like, look at this. He had a moment where he felt insulted, and now look at the millions of people who are here, all following him. So it must have been, you know, if he were to see that, such a proud moment for him. So Medina was a good place for me to rest and get comfort and kind of get in the zone before heading off to Mecca. And I shared some of my reflections about Medina in other places, online and other places. I don't know if you wanted to share anything specific about Medina.
No, as Ahmad was mentioning, I loved Medina a lot. For me, Medina came after, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy I took the advice of many friends of mine that told me to go to Medina after Hajj. You're going to enjoy it after. Shaykh Ismail, go to Medina after Hajj. Go to Medina after Hajj. You'll be chilling. You'll be relaxing. And this is the best decision I ever made because Hajj was exhausting. As we said many times, it was exhausting. Hajj is very exhausting for a lot of reasons. You know, it's not only the walking, it's the waiting as well. And it's the heat as well. And it's so hot. And it's the amount of people around you. So I thought, like, growing up listening about Hajj, I thought it was all walking. No, it's walking and waiting. It's walking and waiting. It's walking and waiting.
Yeah.
And when you're waiting carrying a backpack, it's so exhausting. And Dr. Emad mentioned the lady that packed heavy. I was that lady in my group. I'm not a lady. I packed so heavy. And wallahi, I regret it. I was carrying this heavy backpack. I was over-prepared. This brothers from my masjid here, they blessed me with so many gifts to pass out to people. I had like 10 fans and all these things I was going to pass out. And every time I try to pass it out to someone they already have, they're already prepared. Everyone was over-prepared. Everyone was passing out things to everyone. But my bag was very heavy, and we're waiting to get onto the train, or we're waiting to get onto something, and it's exhausting. So after all of this exhaustion at Hajj and the shaving of the head and having a great time in Mecca, I felt honestly so amazing. And we always hear that the person that goes to Hajj, he comes back like the day his mother gave birth to him. And the fuqaha and the ulama of hadith, they mention something interesting when it comes to this hadith, because, you know, we hear this hadith all the time in the Hajj khutbah. You know, the one who comes back, he comes back like the day his mother gave birth to him. There's an ishkali in this hadith. There's like a little problem in this hadith, and that's that the day your mother gives birth to you, you have no good deeds or bad deeds. So the scholars, they come and they have to answer everything, because if it's not common sense, they have to come and make sure that you understood that no, your slate is clean from bad deeds.
Mm-hmm.
Your slate is clean from bad deeds, my brother. But you're not going to start from zero. Is Allah going to clear your slate of good deeds, my brother? No, your good deeds are how you found them. So inshallah, you don't start off like the day your mother gave birth to you. You start off like the day your mother gave birth to you, as in you're purified from sin, but your good deeds are all there. And however, there's a caveat here that has to be mentioned. And that's that if you are sahab kabira, if you have kaba'ir in your life, if you have committed fornication, zina, adultery, if you committed murder, if you committed drinking alcohol or anything like that, Hajj does not wipe that away. Hajj wipes away minor sins. So you come back with a clean slate of minor sins. However, it's impossible for someone to go to Hajj and not make tawbah in Hajj.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, inshallah, we say that. The one that goes to Hajj, inshallah, he makes a lot of tawbah in Hajj.
Yeah.
Inshallah, you're going to Hajj and you're making tawbah, you're coming back a new person and you're praying when you come back. But no, in order for your slate to be clean from major sins, it requires tawbah. And inshallah, you're making tawbah in Arafah and Muzdalifah and Mina and Kaaba. You're crying your eyes out and you're feeling regret. So you come back brand new. I'm saying this now because after Hajj finished, the 5 days of Hajj, I really felt brand new. And I keep telling Dr. Emad, because I'm sharing with you all, I don't want to sound like, oh, it was angelic for me. It wasn't angelic. There was many times I was in certain areas and I didn't feel nothing. I'm here throwing jamarat. I don't feel anything. Like I kept telling Dr. Emad and the other Shaykh that was with me in my group, Farhan Zaberi, may Allah bless him, in California, in Diamond Bar. He's in IOK, the Institute of Knowledge. He's the Imam there. He has actually a lot of books that he authored. He translated a lot of books as well for us to have, Ulum al-Hadith in English and Usul al-Tafsir in English. And he has Tafsir Surah al-Kahf and Maryam in English. Very beneficial books. Farhan Zaberi, he's a great man. He was with me in my tent in Mina. I was even telling him this, and I'll tell Dr. Emad this. They gave me the same feedback. They said, you know, you're doing an obligation. If you're fulfilling the obligation, you're not going to always feel that feeling. But my biggest thing is I want you to all say this, because sometimes people don't say it, but they feel like what I was feeling. I honestly, so many times I didn't feel like angelic, or I didn't feel like how people around me are all, I'm looking around, everyone's like in it. They're feeling it. And like some guys are crying. I'm just going around making tawaf and I'm looking around and I'm not feeling it. Or I do sa'i bain as-safa wal marwa and I'm not feeling it. Many times, by the way, that when I was doing sa'i and safa wal marwa, maybe 4 or 5 times I wasn't feeling it. By the time I got to the 6th, I really felt it. And I'm guessing this is all tazkiyah, because you don't feel something from the start, but then you begin to feel it. Anyway, after Hajj was finished, I really felt so pure.
Subhanallah.
I felt like I was a baby. You know, a baby is pure. You say a baby is innocent. He doesn't have sin. Wallahi, after Hajj, I felt so pure. And when you're so pure, you feel salah more and you taste it more. So now I'm talking about Medina. So when I finished Hajj, I felt like my vessel, my heart was so purified. I felt every salah times 100. I was even feeling salah before, but I felt it times 100. I just felt like I can't sin. I felt like so pure. And then I go to Medina, and now I'm looking at the people around me. They're just in love with the Prophet. And as Dr. Ahmad mentioned, he was not, his own people, Quraysh, did not believe in him. And now you have people from Fiji, Bangladesh, Australia, Indonesia, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, like everyone in the world is in Medina.
Yeah.
Why are they in Medina? The Kaaba is not in Medina.
Yeah.
The
SubhanAllah.
Kaaba of our heart is in Medina. You know, the Prophet ﷺ is in Medina.
Yeah, so even I have that same feeling. Like I never had this feeling before. I don't even remember for my first Hajj. You know, I was like 19 years old, but I just feel that same thing. Like SubhanAllah, even after Ramadan, you know, inshallah, we're all forgiven. Allah accepts our Ramadan, but it's nothing like Hajj. When you leave Hajj, I've never felt this feeling of I just feel forgiven. I just feel like it's literally a clean slate. And sometimes your past holds you down, and it makes you feel like, oh, I'm a hypocrite. I've done that in the past. I've done this. And you know what it's like? Sometimes a kid, they make a mistake, and like, can we just start over? Can we just, start, do reset, replay, just, and you go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Hajj, and you say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, can we just start over? And Allah gives you that chance. And if you're alive you're going for Hajj as an adult, you're 20, 30, 40 years old, 50, 60 years old, you've accumulated a life of many mistakes.
Yeah.
To be given this opportunity, subhanAllah, to be this newborn baby is such a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I wanted to share one thing, one reflection I had in Medina as you walk past the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's grave. I just think to myself, how many times did I mention a khutbah where I mention a hadith? And the hadith is so profound and it has so much wisdom in it. And this is where it came from. And I thought to myself, if I have my own struggles, my own personal things I go through, and then there's the problems of the ummah at large, and then I think to myself, if I could only get a word of wisdom from the Prophet ﷺ right now, I know it would have been short and sweet, but packed and full of wisdom. I just felt like this is where it all came from. All wisdom that we have, anything that we share here or anywhere else, is coming from the source of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I don't know. What about?
I wanted to just finish the point I was making about Medina after Hajj. When I went to Medina, I never felt like, I felt peacefulness in Medina. I'm not going to say I didn't. Of course, I felt peacefulness, and it's amazing. When I got to Medina this time after Hajj, when I was praying in Masjid al-Nabawi, first of all, it was less stressful, less anxiety-inducing, less busy than the Haram in Mecca. And when I was going to pray in Medina, wallahi, Ahmad, I felt every sujood, I tasted so delicious. That's what I wanted to say. The ibadah felt so good because I felt pure. And I don't feel like I did good in Hajj. I don't feel like I had a great Hajj. I felt like I was going through motion sometimes, and I don't feel so good. But I felt like Dr. Ahmad is saying, Allah's mercy is so vast, and I felt so new. I felt so pure. And I keep telling Ahmad, I feel so good in my heart. My heart feels so good. And those 3-4 days in Medina I spent were all amazing. And like I said, I love to see and observe the different people from all over the world that are in Medina, and they're so happy to be in Medina for what? For the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And people, they venerate the Prophet in their heart a lot. So Allah, He gave the Prophet a lot back. You were going to ask something. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask, is there anything else in, that like the day of Arafah or Jama'ah?
No, the most important feedback that we didn't give was is the people that you meet in Hajj and like the different connections you make. And I was worried because I did a quad room to save money. So I did a quad room, and I was worried that the 3 guys I was going to be with were going to be really like annoying or non-hygienic or whatever. I'm worried that they're going to be inconsiderate, and it's the opposite. I got 3 of the best people that Allah ever created. Like, wallahi, 3 of the best people you can meet. And then I remember talking to someone here from Paris, and a friend of mine, he was like, Shaykh, you're going to Hajj. You're going to only be with the best people. Like, you're going to love the people that you're going to be with.
Yeah.
So the brothers I made, they were really amazing, and I really, really like. We keep in touch now. We have a group called Hajj Roommates 2025, and they're all similar in age, and they were all great guys with similar stories, like crazy stories. One from Seattle, one from Dallas, and one from Boston, and I'm from New Jersey. Like, Allah brings us all 4 together to meet each other in Hajj, and like the Muslim, there's nothing like the Muslim, because these guys now I'm close to them like I knew them for 30 years. I got to know them 2 weeks ago, but my relationship with them is like 30 years strong. Yeah. This is only from Islam, because the mabadi and the usul are all the same. The love for Allah is there.
Yeah, this is amazing. Subhanallah.
What do you have about Arafah or Muzdalifah?
For me, the day of Arafah, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Al-Hajj Arafah. So I was observing people. I was even talking to Shaykh Ismail a little bit before Dhuhr came in. So when Dhuhr comes in, this is when Arafah actually starts. So if you think 27th night of Ramadan, Arafah is basically that, but in the day. You have the short window of time where you want to maximize all of your dua. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, Khairud dua, the best of dua is dua Arafah, is the dua of the day of Arafah. Meaning, if you are there on Arafah, that's the best time to make dua. So people want to capitalize on this. And something that really like stood out to me this year was how before Dhuhr, everyone is just being normal. You know, people are talking, people are socializing, people are eating, people are drinking. And I remember as soon as Dhuhr came in, everyone's attitude changed completely. And it was 114 degrees outside. And everyone's attitude changed where everyone kind of became, you know, went into isolation by themselves. And everyone started making dua. And you listen to these people's dua, and everyone just crying. Everyone had an issue there. There was a sister in our group who actually had her daughter was supposed to come with her for Hajj, and her daughter actually packed the bags with her, but her daughter got in a car accident about 2 weeks before Hajj, so she ended up coming without her daughter. And I look and I just see her there making dua and sobbing, right? And you look at someone else who's making dua for a sickness, someone who's making dua for this, and it's hard to explain it, but it's such a I just felt like God is listening, right? So you had God's ear essentially for those few hours, you know, and you just, for me at least myself, I spoke to God directly, and everyone there was doing the same thing. And towards the end of the day, we came and we made collective dua. And what was beautiful about it is that everyone there paid thousands of dollars to come, right? No matter what package you chose, you paid thousands of dollars. You've traveled thousands of miles. You've left your family. You've left your job. You've left comfort. All of that to go and stand here. And everyone is making dua for their own thing in their own language. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is listening to each and every single one of them. It's literally a rehearsal of the Day of Judgment. You've died, you're wearing a shroud, and now you're on this plane with all of humanity, and you're all praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and making dua to Him. So the day of Arafah was like, you know, there's a verse in Surah Al-Hajj, it's actually the first verse. And the day of Arafah made me understand this verse. It says, Tara nasa sukara. On the day of judgment, you will see people, they appear drunk. وَمَا هُمْ بِسُكَارَ, but they're not drunk. وَلَكِنَّ عَذَابَ اللَّهِ شَدِيد, but the punishment of Allah is severe. I guess what I'm trying to share or explain is that once Dhuhr came in, attitudes completely changed. It's like no one knew anyone anymore. You were joking with someone 2 minutes ago. Now Dhuhr came in, no one is talking anymore. No one is socializing. Everyone is just there in dhikr or dua for those moments.
Did
And
you
it was,
feel it there?
I felt it so much, subhanAllah. I felt it immensely this year. I guess for me, this year, Hajj is different. Like the first time I did Hajj, I was young. I was not married. I didn't know my future. I'm at a point in my life where I still want things. I still ask God for things. But a lot of it was just thanking, you know, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing me to live again, you know, for this long.
وَلَئِنْ شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ.
Yeah, there are many people who I know who didn't live as long as me, right? Throughout my life, you know, many peers, you hear like people who die in car accidents, people who drown, just life, you know. So for me, it was just a lot of thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for every blessing He gave me, making dua for the ummah, for Gaza, for my children. And I'm more mature now. So I felt really connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of Arafah. And it reminded me of the Day of Judgment because of how hot it was that day. It was 114 degrees. And I didn't want to be in the tent because the tent was air conditioned. It just felt too comfortable. I didn't want to be in there. So I would go in there just to cool off for a few minutes and go back outside. I was in the shade. I didn't stand in the sun, but I just saw people. Everywhere you look, there's someone crying, right? And that in itself just softens your heart. Like literally everywhere I look, there's someone who's crying. There's one guy who's making dua in front of me, and he's quiet, quiet, quiet. And I'm making dua behind him. I'm sitting on a chair. He's sitting about 4 feet away. And then I just hear him break down. And I'm like, subhanAllah, like I don't know what he's asking for. I don't know what he's going through. I don't know what sin he's committed that he's like repenting from. And you see that happening all over the place. And subhanAllah, you just feel this is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is near on that day. You know, so that's the day of that's the best day of Hajj. And that's a moment where, of course, I just know my dua was answered. I don't say in an arrogant way. It's not because me. It's because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's there and He heard, and you go and you pour your heart out. You speak everything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And before Arafah,
can you speak from previous experience from your first Hajj? Did you see du'as come true?
Yeah, so my first
I'm
Hajj.
asking because you're speaking about, you said with certainty, like, I got answer because you felt it. But I've heard so many people that went to Hajj and they say the same thing. They say all my du'ats that I asked Allah for Arafah came into fruition, except for one, and I see it's still going to come. Like, are you saying that it got answered because your first ones that you made the first time Arafah got answered too, and you have so much conviction, or you felt it so strongly?
No, it's not because of my first Hajj. My first
Did
Hajj.
your du'ats and Arafah get accepted from the first Hajj?
Yeah, but it's honestly more of a blur for me. It's 20 years ago. I didn't really understand the significance of Hajj, and in my mind, I was saying, no, I'm young, I'll do it again. I wasn't in a right spiritual state, I guess, at that time. Even though I thought I wasn't. Because I guess I was young. I was, you know, at that time, maybe there was a sense of arrogance in me. I don't know what it was, religious. I don't know, but this time was different. And I felt like my dua, when I say answered, I don't mean like I asked for a Lamborghini, I'm going to get that. I just felt like God is listening, and I came and I apologized.
I definitely felt that way as well.
Right, I came and I apologized for my mistakes, and I thanked him for everything he gave me, and it was just over. The only way I can describe it is just feeling overwhelmed with Allah Subhanahu wa Taala's presence. And when you're in the presence of Al-Kareem, He's gonna give. It's not because of me or anything I've done. It's just you're in the presence of Al-Kareem, and He's gonna give you. And I mean, and something else beautiful that after that we did the Jamarat, and for me that was also a very emotional moment because you're just clean. The Jamarat come after Arafah.
Can you explain it?
After Arafah, you go from Arafah, you go to Muzdalifah, you spend the night there. And one thing that's interesting actually in Muzdalifah, I was talking to a brother, and he's like, "Oh, you see that guy over there?" And we're on Ihram. I was like, "Yeah, I see him." He's like, "Oh, that's the CEO of Saudi Arabian Airlines." I was like, "He looks like you can't tell. He's a normal person. There's no suit, there's no tie. He literally looked like a normal guy." I was like, "Wow, subhanAllah." And I didn't really care at the moment.
You saw Habib Nurmagomedov also.
I saw Habib, the boxer. I saw all these people. But at that moment, you're like, look, we're just all normal people. You have the CEO of an airline, and you have an athlete, and you have normal people, and we're all the same. Anyway, the Jamarat, when I was going there, you're walking towards the Jamarat, and you throw 7 pebbles at Shaitan, where Ibrahim alayhi salam was tempted. And when I went for my first Hajj, there was a brother who was with us, Amo Fikri. He took us and he told us this thing in the first Hajj, and it stuck with me. He said, when you go and throw the Jamarat, he said, just think of 7 bad habits you have, 7 sins you want to let go. And as I was walking, and I just see hands going like this. Everyone's hands going like this. And they're saying Allahu Akbar, and they're throwing at Shaitan. And I look, and there's just an ocean of people. And I said, Shaitan got at one point in all of these people's life, subhanAllah, Shaitan got them. Everyone here fell into the trap of Shaitan at one point in their life. And they're back. And now, after you are saying to Shaitan, no more. Like, get out of my life. I don't want you anymore. I'm done. I'm clean. And you let that sin go, and you throw it away. You let that bad habit go, and you get the guy who was trying to tempt you. And this is where our father Ibrahim alayhi salam was tempted, because he didn't want to slaughter his son. But Shaitan came, and he tempted him in this moment. So that was. So
you're attacking a vice that you have.
Yeah, exactly. You're throwing it away. You're saying goodbye to it. You put that in a rock, in that pebble, and you throw it away. You say, Allah is greater than that. Allah is greater than this sin.
There was something I wanted to say. I forgot when you were. I'll come back.
So I guess we can.
I had one last takeaway, but this is not what I was thinking of. This is something that I thought of just now. But if that comes back, I wanted to say something quickly. But no, another thing I was thinking of a lot, especially in Muzdalifah, because Muzdalifah is after Arafah. You go from Arafah to Muzdalifah walking, or however you get there, and it's just an open plain, and everyone is there, like on a Sa'id Wahid, like everyone is there, like as if it's like Yawm al-Qiyamah in one place. And I saw like 7 or 8 famous Imams from America in the exact location I was in. Umar Suleiman, Abu Taymiyyah from London, Mufti Abdul Wahab and the Mufti brothers from Miftah, and who else?
Yasir Khadi was there. Yeah.
Yasir Khadi was there across from us, but in R1 there was another 2 that were famous.
Okay. Yeah.
And all I was thinking was, I was reading the biography of Abu Hanifa, and he would hear a lot about Malik, and Malik would hear a lot about Abu Hanifa, this Muqtada from Kufa, this guy that's coming out with crazy stuff. And then they all go to Hajj. And I was thinking, like, Muzdalifah is crazy. I saw so many people that were so famous in one area, and I was thinking there is nothing that will bring these people together the way they're brought together now.
Yeah, subhanallah.
Except for Islam. Like, it's crazy. Like, all these people are busy. They got so much stuff going on. They're all stopped their busyness to come here. And I was thinking, Abu Hanifa is more busy than all of them, and he's more famous than all of them. And Imam Malik, Imam Dar al-Hijrah, are more busy than all of them. And Imam Malik and Imam Abu Hanifa 3 times in 3 different Hajjs, they got together. And they did a little munaqasha back and forth. And I was thinking about Bukhari and Abu Dawud and Tirmidhi and Nasai, all these people, these big ulama that would come to Hajj, Imam Ahmad and San'ani.
Yeah.
And they'd come and they'd have munaqashat al-miyah fil Hajj. Like, just think about this, like, at their timing, they're coming. You see Imam Ahmad and Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi'i and Hajj. I was thinking about that, and that was really strong to me, because, like, Imam Umar Salman was sitting in front of me talking to someone. I forgot who was, some of the famous Imam. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, that's so crazy. Abu Hanifa came and he met Malik, and then Malik, all the thoughts he thought of Abu Hanifa, they left his heart, because he spoke to the man and he saw him in person. And he said that if Abu Hanifa came and he told you that this pillar was made of gold, I'll believe him, because he's so strong. So I was just thinking about all the people that made Hajj before.
Yeah,
Hajj is a great gathering.
SubhanAllah is like the gathering of the Muslim Ummah. I didn't share this with you, but when I was leaving, you know, in America, you meet people of all backgrounds. You'll meet a Palestinian, you'll meet an Iraqi, you'll meet a guy from Nigeria. But people who are in other parts of the world, they don't see other nationalities until they leave their country. So I was on the plane from Jeddah to Qatar, and I was getting off the plane, and there was a few Pakistani guys there, and they asked me, "Where are you from?" I told them from Palestine, and the guy was shocked, and he gave me a hug, and it was a nice long hug. And there were 2 or 3 of them, and I'm not in Palestine. I was like, I'm in America, but I'm Palestinian. And then they just started telling me, I want you to know that every night we pray tahajjud. They were Tablighi guys. They were like, every night we cry tahajjud for Palestine. And it made me a little emotional. I didn't like, but I was like, subhanallah. Like, for them, this is something they're going to say, I saw someone who's Palestinian. And it just unites the ummah. Like, for me, I was like, there's someone who is in a Southeast Asia who's making dua for a country he's not even from. But what's uniting us is only the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Islam.
Medina, last day, I'll end with this. Medina, when I ended in Medina, I was texting Emad the whole time about these crazy encounters I was having. I met like 7 people in Medina by chance. People that I knew from Azhar in Egypt, people from Bangladesh. I met a brother from Bangladesh that studied with me in Egypt for many years. Like, he did a master's in Azhar. He's a Hajj Murshid now. I met him in Medina. I met a brother, his name is Brother Maudud. He's an Imam now. I know Maudud from 13 years ago. I met him in Egypt. The first day I got to Egypt, I saw Maudud making tawaf in the haram. He jumped on me. I met him by chance. I met a brother Muhammad al-Dirsi from Libya. He was in Egypt for 3 years. I saw him at the haram. We bumped into each other in the haram of Mecca. Medina, going back to Medina, I met Brother Nasim from London. I met him in Medina. I met like 10 people. I can't remember now off the top of my head their names. I met like 10 people in my last 2 days in Medina. Here, just walking in the streets of Medina. I met Brother Shahid Malik from Oviedo, Musalla, where Dr. Ahmad is. Dr. Ahmad asked me for a favor. He said, can you please bring me these 2 thobes? I liked how they fit. They fit good. I'm like, absolutely, I'll go get you the thobes. I live in New Jersey. He's in Florida. I'm like, I'll keep them with me when we meet each other next year. I'll give them to him. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he loves Ahmad more than Ahmad knows. And maybe this is a little bushra that his dua in Arafah was answered, because as I'm talking to Ahmad on the phone, by the way, I didn't want to go out to the thobe spot at Dhuhr. I wanted to sleep in, but I couldn't sleep in. I was feeling unrestful. So I left. No one leaves at Dhuhr, it's hot. But I left to the mall at Dhuhr after the haram. I'm in the mall. I'm having some lunch. I got into an encounter with this Egyptian guy that, like, we got like a little fight. I'm eating and the guy moved my food. I'm like, what are you doing? Don't touch my food. What are you doing? That's rude. And I was bothered. If I wasn't bothered, I would have remained seating. I got up. As I got up, Ahmad texted me. Like, his timing is crazy, because he just texted me, oh, the guy sent me these pictures. Can you go check it out? The place was right in front of me. So I get up. I wasn't going to get up. I got up because I got to fight with the Egyptian guy. I call Dr. Imad. I'm like, I'm walking into the shop right now. I'm going to tell you the stuff. As I'm walking, this is crazy. As I'm walking on the phone, I'm walking and I'm looking around. And you know how, like, you could see down to the next floor down? Like, there's an elevator, an escalator. I'm looking down. I see someone sitting on the floor. I see this guy sitting on the floor against the pillar. You know, like, I'm upstairs and I can see down. He's sitting against it's a brother that I know from Orlando. I used to teach his kids in Sunday school. He's an amazing brother. He's from Dr. Ahmad's area. Now he goes to Dr. Ahmad's masjid every day for Fajr, and they see each other there every day. I see him as I'm on the phone with Dr. Ahmad, and I say, Brother Shahid, and he jumps up. He starts recording me. He goes, hey, what are you doing here? I said, come, I'm going to be in the shop. Come. He goes, yeah, I'm coming now. I'll be there in 10 minutes. I go to the shop. I'm on the phone with Dr. Ahmad, and I'm purchasing the thobes. And as I'm purchasing the thobes, Brother Shahid comes in. I'm like, brother, why don't you just take them? You're going to Oviedo. He goes, I would love to. Allah said, I'm at DHL first class to his house. Like, he doesn't even have to wait for the thobes. How could you do this? Like, how? I didn't know Shahid was in Hajj. I didn't know that. And why did I see him the second Ahmad? I was on the phone with Ahmad. Oh, man, that's something crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, among like 3 million people, right? For you to bump in at a time, like if you bumped into him an hour later when you put
Ahmad, the phone call was 7 minutes long. How was it?
Subhanallah. And that interaction, the altercation with the Egyptian guy is what made you move to see him.
Yeah. Subhanallah. And he came up and he's so close with Dr. Ahmad, like it's no awkwardness. I'm going to ask him to take it. And he's like, of course I'll take it. I'm going to see him in 3 days, like in the masjid. Subhanallah, man. There's nothing like Islam, man. There's nothing like Islam. He saved me the trip back to the hotel too, because I would have put them in. I want to go to the haram, you know.
Yeah. Subhanallah, man. This is there's so many stories like this. I have a story like this. It wasn't in Ramadan. It wasn't in Hajj. It was in Ramadan. But I'll share another time, inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah. This was a great session. I appreciate.
Exactly.
We have many reflections. I have so many more. Like, and the more we talk and we remember, they come. The bottom line and the point is that I want to say. The bottom line point I want to say is set a strong resolve and intention to go to Hajj. Hajj is amazing. I had something that used to always push me away from it, but now I know, and I could say certainly it was the shaitan. I'm a big guy, and I was worried about like being uncomfortable and the heat and the walking and all this and that. It's all easy. Anything you do for the sake of Allah is made easy. And every time I tell Ahmad, I'm worried about this and that, he's like, Allah will make it easy. Every time we talk to someone of wisdom, they tell you Allah will make it easy. Allah facilitates it for you. And it's made easy. Hajj was not hard at all, and I look forward to going many other times. It was an amazing act of worship. I ask Allah to accept it, wallahi.
Ameen, inshallah. Yeah, I think the takeaway, I guess, if you haven't gone for Hajj yet, whenever you do something good, shaitan comes and he scares you, right? Ash-shaytanu ya'idukum al-faqr. Before you give sadaqah, shaitan comes and puts poverty before your eyes. So before going for Hajj, shaitan is going to come and make you look like, oh, it's this much money, I don't have time, this and that and that. And it's all just shaitan scaring you. Once you take that first step and you go, Allah facilitates it all, man. Just like Ramadan. Before Ramadan kicks in, you get worried. I'm going to have a headache. How am I going to go to work? I have school. After 2 days, your body just adjusts to it. So all acts of worship are the same thing. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, to accept from us and accept our dua and, allow us to go many times to his house, Hajj and Umrah, to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to not deprive us, because some people are deprived. They'll travel the entire world, but they can't step foot in Mecca or Medina because they don't want to, right? So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to not make us of them. Shaykh Ismail, Jazakallah khair. It's a pleasure having you, and I hope everyone benefited. Assalamu alaikum.